Wow. Okay. Perfect. Well, good morning, everyone, and we appreciate you being here for our third coffee break of Friday. It is a series of half-hour informational sessions where we delve into green building related topics. And this morning, we're very honored to have Justin Idleburg, Principal CEO of Cabanne District Community Development Corporation. Hopefully, I said Cabanne right. And the break will talk about Equitable Energy Mixed Income Community Initiative. My role is chair of the Educational Committee, and our aim is developing opportunities for council and community members to expand their knowledge of green building principles and practices. We have a wealth of opportunity if you're interested in becoming involved with us and help form the programs that will reach you and inform your journey to being more active in the green building practice and green overall knowledge. Um, our meetings are the first Tuesday of every month, 5:30 to 7. And before then, if you want to join the upcoming event, we have, by the end of today, nominations for 2024 board members of the Green Building Council. So that's online. Um, Mid-Missouri is doing a green home tour of Dream Meadows on the 22nd. And then on August 24th, GPRO operations and maintenance essentials training. And I believe that is in lieu with, no, I was about to say it's in lieu with BEX, but it's not. So one of the instructors is from the Missouri Botanical Gardens. So there's a lot to be excited about. And we have upcoming educational programs online as well, including our ESG partnership with USGBC in October, and it's at September's Green Building Showcase. So quite a mouthful, but definitely go online to learn all about that. Today's coffee break is going to provide an introduction to the Cabanne District CDC. Justin himself works with government leaders, grassroots leaders, faith-based rural urban communities, and he educates with guidance in the areas of health equity, equitable community development, and equitable electrification. Justin holds volunteer leadership positions with Del Mar Divine, Presbyterian Church, USA, the National Conference for Community and Justice of Metropolitan St. Louis, and St. Louis Regional Health Commission, just to name a few. And Justin finally is a proud graduate of Charles Sumner High School and has continued his education through University of Missouri Columbia and University of Missouri St. Louis Neighborhood Leadership Fellowship and Washington University's Brown School of Social Work and Urban Land Institute's Real Estate Diversity Initiative. With all of that, I am very proud to hand the mic over to Justin. Justin, take it away.
Hello, everyone. Thank you all. Thank you all for having me. Happy Friday, everybody. Hope everybody's winding down, even though we're at the beginning of the day. I'm going to begin to tell you all a little bit about the Cabanne District CDC. We have a history of acting as a catalyst for change. Our initiative is to play a critical role in shaping the future of the West End/Visitation Park's future with our Equitable Energy Mixed Income Community Initiative. We're going to engage a wide array of audience to work together towards more equitable strategies that promote low energy mixed income places where people can live, work, play, and age, where the energy burden levels are low to none, and our mixed income communities are very critical to achieving neighborhood equity and rejuvenating the economy and quality of life. Transforming communities with capital for equitable and sustainable development. We're going to bridge pre-development and construction finance for a passive type of housing for regular, just for residential, commercial, and mixed-use development as we prepare our neighbors for the implementation of the Smart West End Plan and the federal initiative, which is called the Justice 40, to where we will all get our hands dirty and take on a hands-on approach with workshops and other educational opportunities to understand the knowledge and to operate these new technologies and upgrades in a way that would help lessen our energy burdens. Our focus is on systemic and environmental inequities experienced by historical marginalized people due to their race and ethnicity, gender, social, economical status, disability, and other attributes. We have firsthand experience and expertise in a variety of strategies being used globally to promote economic, healthy, justice, and energy equity. We believe that changing the systems and conditions that perpetuate or maintain the inequities and injustices we experience, we require neighbors of these groups and their advocates to lead, shift power, and to drive the solutions. The foundation for creating a strong, economically resilient and sustainable, bankable, livable communities is increasingly built on a spectrum of place-based activities that develop and improve community revitalization tools and strategies. I could keep talking you all, but I want to shut up. I'm gonna pass it back to you, David.
Do you want me to share screen? Do you want to go through those images?
Yes,
Okay.
Please, let's go to the first one. So to help you all understand where the West End is at, we're not talking about the CWE where we have a lot of good times in the evening or maybe a lot of great lunch meetings. The West End neighborhood is as they like to call it, north of Delmar. If you're familiar where like the intersection of Delmar and Bolivar is at, or if you also know where the home of the Delmar Divine, Miss Maxine Clark's redevelopment mixed-use project of the old St. Luke's Hospital. The West End is bounded by Page to the north, Skinker to the west, Delmar to the south, and Union to the east, as you see here in the map. Years ago, for our mature adults that may be on the line here, our community once was called the Cabanne neighborhood. And due to some issues with race and other things that keeps our communities down, they chose to change it from the Cabanne district, or the Cabanne neighborhood, into the West End neighborhood. If you would please go to the next slide. Here you see, which is the title page for a plan that we co-created here back during the middle of COVID. As we talked about, like, how do we get to the solutions that can help co-create a post-COVID housing in the era in which we live in? COVID showed us that we need more advancements in the things that are in our homes. And when we think about energy, and now that everyone is back outside, what is the role that smart technology plays in that housing? And thinking of such, think about if you had an app on your phone. So we all live busy lives. You leave out the house, you didn't turn your thermostat down, right? If you leave your thermostat up at 80 or 70, whatever you like to keep it at in the wintertime, you're just wasting money. As that commercial said, your money's blowing a stack, going through the roof, right? But if you have this nice smart technology app, you can be like, oh, I'm dropping my kids off and I remember, wow, I need to turn my thermostat down, right? So you can turn your thermostat down with the use of smart technology and be like, oh, and you can be like me. I used to have an electric bill of $190 a month. Now it's $29 a month because I have a fully electrified apartment, and I also turn my thermostat down when I'm not at home. So thinking about that, and like I said, how are we going to co-create post-COVID housing, and thinking about the housing that we wish to see here in the West End and Visitation Park neighborhood, think about everything. So when we thought about this, we thought, once again, smart technology, And we also thought about something, a housing design, because 83% of the residents that live within the West End and Visitation Park neighborhood suffer from energy burdens. So in my work, I like to find solutions. And one of the solutions, one of the great people that's on here, who runs the sustainability committee for MOEFA, Energy Efficiency for All, Ms. Dana Gray, had introduced us to a gentleman by the name of Jonathan Arnold. And when we met Mr. Arnold, he presented us something I had never heard of, passive housing design. And when each one of the things, if I never forget what he shared with us, when he told us whether you do a retrofit or a new home construction, if you implement these key principles that we're going to see in the next slide here, you can lessen the homeowners or apartment owners' utility costs or utility usage by 60%. When I seen that and learned about this, you all, we're from the show me state. So I was like, I want to see this. So when I got to looking up all the facts about passive housing, I was like, oh man, I said, this might be the solution to what we need here. And thinking about who feels the impact of having to pay high utility costs outside of me, a single man who has expendable cash, mothers and elders. Thinking about how the mothers are the head of a lot of households where I live at, and not just where I live at, in many other communities alike. So having that lens on, I'm like, man, if I could take a mother's gas bill and electric bill from being $300 a month, I want to do this. So as I shared, I went and did some research on passive housing. I'm going to share a little bit of that with you all. What passive housing is. And passive housing is a set of standards for construction of building that ties to a particular philosophy. The principle originated in the 1970s that claims that energy efficiency is key to a building's comfort and operations over its lifetime. Homes with passive house classification meet the highest energy efficiency standards of a conventional new building design. Every aspect of the structure is optimized to reduce energy usage below a certain level. The results of having passive housing is a healthy, comfortable living or workspace that consumes in a tiny fraction of energy compared to the nearby buildings of a similar size and function. And as you all can see here on this nice little image here, all the different things that add to passive housing. One of the things that draws me to is solar. I think about solar and the role that solar plays, not just with Inflation Reduction Act or Justice 40, how it can help a family lessen its utility costs. Even though some of our utility companies, won't say any name, or are not that fond of the community having the power, I wish we can get some real credits and financial resources to put that back in. But the concept of a passive home may provide both meaning and a measure for the idea that comes with a better understanding of what passive and active energy efficiency actually means within a home. In most structures, efficiency comes through production and retention. The building envelope, which describes the ability of the structure's exterior to protect the indoor environment from the outdoors, provides passive efficiency. For example, a furnace is energy efficient if it uses less fuel to generate heat. A greater quantity of installation that keeps the installation heat inside longer is a form of efficiency. And some of the key things to think about, some of the key principles in the design of passive housing is the installation that is well beyond the minimum standards for the climate zone, ideal ventilation that recapture conditions air for the use inside of the home, energy recovery at rates of 80% or more, moisture recovery to maintain an ideal range of humidity, air tightness that allows only a tiny fraction of indoor air to escape the building envelope and passive heating that makes use of heat source, including people or pets. They say some of us let off a lot of heat when it's a lot of us in the house. So, hey, think about Thanksgiving and Christmas dinners when you all get everybody at the table. Keep your utilities down, all that body heat. High efficiency windows to provide strategic management of solar heat gain. And I'm going to pause there for any questions before I keep going on to talk about the different classifications of passive home designs.
Does anyone have questions for Justin about his work in the Cabanne district?
I have a question. Which green building standard are you following? This is Lorraine Ward, by the way, with McCormick Barron.
How you doing?
Good.
So as you know, here in St. Louis, we don't really have any. So when you think, in my mind, I think about the LEED classifications, whether it's gold, platinum, or silver, when I think about, green building standards, because like I said, we don't have any here per se, especially with the Affordable Housing Commission here in the city of St. Louis where we're located. So just basing it off of that.
Okay. Because I think when I'm learning, I haven't been with McCormick that long, but as I'm going along, they're kind of following the EGC 2020 or the National Green Building Standard for affordable housing. So I was just kind of curious if you guys were also following along with that. So thank you for that. Oh, okay. There's Emily just provided some info. Thank you, Emily.
Appreciate that. And appreciate you for your question. Anyone else?
I guess not so much a question, but a comment. Justin, really impressed with the presentation so far. One of the things I like is Passive House, and there's a podcast, Passive House Accelerator. I don't know if any of you have been able to listen to it, but it does go into depth about certain projects like on the East Coast, some on the West Coast as well, but it's really impressive to see this type of movement here in St. Louis, and especially in neighborhoods that could benefit from more of this type of development and kind of regeneration. Because I think when you do have quality housing, it provides people hope and inspiration to do that. So, and yes, I will definitely put that in the chat, the name of the podcast.
If you all, before I get to talking about the different styles, can you go to the next image of one of the nice historic homes that we have in our neighborhood?
Dana has a question too, if you want to jump in. Yeah.
Okay, go ahead, Dana.
You identified a target property for implementing the passive house improvements?
One of the ones right here, that's in the image. The city said they just put up a sign on this house last week that said it was condemned. So I don't know. All I knew was that the front porch had termites. They didn't say the rest of the house had termites, but just last week they came and put up a sign that said condemned. So we're probably going to have to find another house within the West End or a visitation park to go after. That answer your question, Dana?
Yeah, so
okay.
So I'm just curious how far along you are and if you need any help and if I can provide any resources.
Oh, we most definitely are looking for resources and assistance because we all are all about co-creating. This is not a dictatorship. Just as well as you all are learning about this, I just learned about this 6 months ago via Nice Dana and Mr. Arnold. So we've been trying to find who in the St. Louis area is a passive house certified architect to help us design modern version of these homes that you see here. Happy Tuesday. I'm sorry, I was reading what was in the comments. But as you can see, both of these homes, like the house that's here right now, this is like the biggest house that exists on a street. It's the first street on the west side. It's called West Cabanne Place. They don't call it West Cabanne anymore because they took away their private street designation and become a regular street because the neighbors could not afford to make the maintenance on their own. And the home that we're looking at right now is something I would define as environmental racism, because it's looked like this for the last almost 10 years when it was a fire there. And now it's been sitting there for almost 10 years, and now we're starting to see foxes come out. And we have mothers with children that live across the street and behind it. But nevertheless, I picked these two homes particularly because one is a brick home, as we talked about, like retrofitting homes that are brick homes, and also homes that are, as the last one was a Queen Anne shingle style home. And thinking about more so about the houses that are like in North County or more modernly built homes, I want to make an example to show people in either way, a retrofit or a new home or existing home, that this can be done and be done at a way that, from what I understand, it only increases your budget by 3%. But we're going to find out in this nice new market if it's still at 3%, is that went to 9%. You know, because I want to help create the type of housing that's not only good on your pocket from how much it costs to build, but also what it costs to maintain and upgrade as well. So, is there any more of the questions before I start talking about the different levels of passive housing?
I have a question, Justin.
Yes, ma'am.
So, your role in this project is what exactly? I think I'm missing that part. Are you all construction managers? Are you all developers? Are you all in?
We're going to be a developer. We are the developers, and we're looking for a construction company to bridge that with us. Because one, we don't have the experience. We just have the idea and the mindset and the community in which to put it there. And we have identified 50 LRA lots within the footprint of the West End and Visitation Park neighborhood. And our ultimate goal is to develop 200 units of new housing. If you've had the chance to look at the West End plan that was just approved, maybe a month ago, they have shared that they wish to do a total of 700. So we wish to do our little role in helping making our neighborhood be better.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. Okay. Yeah.
All right. Thank you. So the first level of passive housing is defined as classic. And classic passive housing involves a building that is highly energy efficient, but does not necessarily produce its own renewable energy. The classic concerns homes that have a renewable primary energy demand of 60 kilowatt hours or less per meter squared of ground area. And since heating is the largest source of heating consumption for a typical home, there is an additional requirement for it. Specifically, any building with passive home classifications must keep its heating demand at 15 kilowatt or less. The limitation requires an architect to consider heating. Specifically, it means that they can not try to balance out higher heater consumption with lower demand during the rest of the year. The second level is passive home plus. A home in the passive home plus classification has a lower net energy demand than the classic level, at least particularly due to renewable energy production. The goal is to provide for the entire building's energy consumption on an annual basis. Although this energy typically comes from solar power, it may also come from other sources like a wind turbine. When we live in the city, I don't know many people putting up wind turbines. Designers often add a hot water receptacle system to retrieve heat from used water as a means to cut down the load. The home must produce at least 60 kilowatts of renewable energy in exchange for 45 kilowatts or less in a primary energy demand. Property owners, about 10% more than the cost of a typical home, and how quickly, hold on. I'm sorry. Property owners saves property on more than 10% more than the typical cost, how they recoup their investment in energy cost demands on the building and heating and cooling load. People who live in these areas with extreme hot summers and very cool winters may stand to benefit more and break even faster than those in relatively mild climates. And I'm going to share some pros with you all to passive home design. And those pros are the ability to customize based on use, dramatically lower energy costs as much as 90%, increase indoor air quality through improved ventilation, less resilience on local grid, focus on renewable energy over fossil fuels, and greater home comfort. I thank you. That's the end of my nice little presentation, and I'm going to open back up for questions.
And I will say that we are getting close to 10:30, but please, if any of you have questions, feel free to ask them. And Justin, I just found you on LinkedIn, so
Okay.
I would love to talk with you afterward, because yes, to definitely have more engagement. But this is great, and we're seeing the promo for your program on September 27th, where you'll be part, which is awesome.
Thank you all. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Justin, please send me that flyer. I'll help promote it.
I appreciate it. Thank you all. If you all would like to be a partner or be a part of this in any type of way, please don't hesitate to reach out. In the event that you're looking at, we're bringing Ms. Marjorie Harris from the Department of Energy to talk about the Justice 40 initiative that covers all of the north side, the west side, and North County, and some southern, like Sullivan, Missouri area, to talk about the rebates, the initiative, and the funding that comes with it. And we're talking about lessening energy burdens as we talk about here in the Cabanne neighborhood. So I thank you all, appreciate you all. I hope somebody can share with me these notes that's popping up here in the chat. I appreciate it. Miss Johnson, Miss Jones, what's your role in all of this?
Well, I'm a member of the Missouri chapter here, Missouri Gateway Green Building Council. But I am by trade, I'm a civil engineer, and then I went into construction management. And so now I'm in construction management. Yeah. I actually can definitely give you a recommendation for a designer and a builder. You can get it all in one. Okay. And a construction manager.
I would appreciate that. And I'll tell you, one of my key things about being intentional, we are looking to work with women business owners that are in construction in all different facets and phases.
I got that there too for abatement. Because I'm assuming, I don't know where at time, sorry guys, I'm assuming that we could talk offline, but I'm assuming that considering some of these houses are a little bit older, you may want to do an environmental site assessment on them and see, any asbestos or hazmat materials.
I appreciate that.
This is Susan Armstrong. I'm also a civil engineer. That's a good point. The environmental assessment hazard, like asbestos tiles and lead paint. So that's probably something to do before you get a really healthy home.
Yep.
And just kind of based on the look of some of those facilities, they look like they could have some historical value to them as well, as considering that neighborhood.
Yeah.
So that's a big.
Yeah.
And the lead service lines for the drinking water, another abatement opportunity.
So on that particular street, it's the only federally qualified or designated historic street.
Yeah.
All the rest of them that were made are all state recognized historic. So doing development on that street, you can get state and federal designation tax credits. So I wish we could make the whole neighborhood like that, but
Get lead points too.
what you said, yay.
Man.
And we'll have a presentation on historic tax credits and tax abatement September 26th at our landlord to rehabber training.
Perfect.
Okay.
And then for the Green Building Council, just want to reiterate some more upcoming events and dates. So September 5th is the Building Energy Exchange Owner Operator Series on lighting controls and best practices. September 7th is an information session on the Green Schools Quest that is really generating and whooping up. So if any of you are interested in, especially in mentoring the young students about green education, definitely check that out. And then our next evening education program is Tuesday, September 12th for the annual Green Building Showcase. And that'll be at the Merrimack campus of St. Louis Community College, where speakers from Mark Torres, WashU, and Dake Wells Architecture, and the interim principal of Patrick Henry Downtown Academy will be taking part. So certainly a myriad of ways to not only engage, but we certainly, Justin, would love to continue this conversation, and I am certain we'll have a part two at some point. So thank you so much.
No problem. Appreciate you all. You know, y'all can come over, we can have a meeting here at the Delmar Divine.
Yeah.
And you all can check out our new solar canopy that Amron put up.
Okay. Yes, I will say
All that.
to my AIA for a minute. We did a tour recently of Delmar Divine and loved the building. So any reason to go back, I'm all for it. So we will be talking.
Thank you. Are we still being recorded, Emily?
We are. I'm gonna, do you want me to stop the recording?
Yeah, because I want to have some more conversation with
And the
Jasmine Jones